How about working on the Quran?
Yes, when I stop valuing my life, that's what I'll do.
Buku yang sangat menjadi legend dan bestseller di Amerika judulnya Misquoting Jesus. Penjelasannya, buku tersebut ditulis oleh seorang profesor di atas profesor. Karena dia dapat gelar itu dari berbagai macam institusi pendidikan tinggi di Amerika, pendidikan Kristen. Definitinya. Namanya Profesor Bart D. Ehrman. Semua orang tahu itu, semua orang Kristen Katolik tahu itu. Profesor Dr. Bart D. Ehrman. Dia yang bilang pertama kali Bible palsu. Statementnya jelas, sangat singkat.
Di buku itu ada.
Di mana-mana ada. Dan
And many Muslims feel that kind of your vision of, or your conclusions, your historical conclusions of who Jesus Christ is more commensurate with, at least, the Muslim idea than it is with the Christian one. To what extent would you agree or disagree with that notion?
I would say that my views don't fit in well with traditional Christianity in a lot of ways. I wouldn't say that they line up well with the Muslim view. I mean, for example, I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried. I really do think Jesus was crucified and that he really was dead and buried.
So what is, I mean, from once again reading your book, misquoting Jesus and other things, my understanding is that your conclusion is that Jesus Christ was a messianic prophet, right? That, at least that's what he claimed he was, not a god or necessarily the son of God, but not a god. To what extent is that a true representation of your beliefs?
Yeah, I think it's interesting in the New Testament that Jesus does claim to be God in the Gospel of John, which is our final gospel. I don't think that the historical Jesus considered himself to be a divine being at all.
There's two things which I think may be of interest to you in Islam. One of them is that one of the necessary conditions for revelation, according to the Quran, is that there are no internal contradictions. And this is very clear. So in the Quran, it's mentioned, in chapter 4, verse 92, that if this book was from other than God, there would have been in it.
Well, I know this is an important argument that apologists use for Islam. My view about this is, as somebody who is not either Christian or Muslim, is that that it doesn't make sense to me for humans to say what God has to do. If God wants to make a revelation, it has to be this, or that. It's got to be clear. It's got to be consistent. There cannot be contradictions. There cannot be manuscript problems. I mean, who says? I mean, God. I mean, you're talking about somebody who's beyond your imagination. I'm not a Quran scholar, obviously, but I would like to say a couple things about it. One is that it does seem to me that if a book is without contradictions, that has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. And so it's impossible for a human to write a book that is without contradictions. That has no bearing on whether it comes from God or not. And so it's not impossible for a human to write a book without contradictions, because many people do. And so I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them. I've had phone books that are inerrant, but I certainly don't think God gave them.